Welcome, everybody. Before we get going, I'd like to remind you that if you wish to speak on an agenda item, please wait for an invitation from the board chair during that discussion. For comments on other school district matters, you may speak during the designated public comment period. Before speaking, state the name and keep remarks brief. Respectful conduct is expected at all times, and the chair may interrupt or end comments that are too long, off-topic, inappropriate, or violate privacy rights. This is a school board business meeting held in a public setting. Thank you for your cooperation in keeping it professional and on track. Next order of business is to review and adopt this here agenda.
We adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second to adopt this agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? All right, moving forward, next section is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to share brief comments of no more than 3 minutes on matters not listed on the agenda. Legal issues and complaints should follow the grievance process outlined in policy 1700. The board will not respond to comments during the meeting, as its role is to listen and consider public input rather than to engage in discussion. Have we any public comment at this time? Wonderful. Moving on to item number 4, which would be the approval of the minutes from the May 13th, 2025 board meeting.
I move we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve the board minutes from the May 13th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Wonderful. On to item number 5, which is the approval of claims and warrants.
What was the communication resources?
So that's an outstanding invoice from about this time last year, for cameras that were installed in the high school building on the outside.
The Missouri Education Cooperative, is that our?
Special education, and it's May and June combined. So it's a lot of every year.
And then with, Zerco, or are we expecting any additional to follow on with that?
How is the issue itself?
It's fine, we'll get bids on the appropriate repair, that's yet to come.
Sure.
And that'll be significant because will come into code, so it'll be a major repair.
Is that anything our insurance will cover, or is that?
I don't believe so.
Oh.
Our insurance covered a majority of the issue at hand, but rebuilding falls to maintenance, just overall, what the school district should be.
I move we approve claims number 18958 through 19000 in the amount of $72,233.80, and payroll number 20063 through 20069, plus direct deposits in the amount of $94,527.29.
second to approve claims number 18958 through 19000 in the amount of $72,233.80. In addition to payroll numbers 20063 through 20069 plus direct deposits in the amount of $94,527.29. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? All right. Moving on, item number 6 is going to be discussion/action agenda items. First of which is the consent to approve bus routes for 2025-2026 school year.
I'm the guy that's gonna speak about that. Clay Acker, if any of you that don't know me. Due to some personnel changes, we've had to modify our 3 bus routes somewhat different than in the past few years. And I'll just kind of go over each one generally, and if you want me to go into more detail, it's kind of all written out here. If you want me to go into more detail, if you have any questions about them, interrupt at any time. This is which I think you all have copies. This actually is the memo that goes to the Mineral County School District Transportation Committee. Alberton, Superior, St. Regis meets every summer, and just part of state law is we have to present our bus routes, and the committee approves. I mean, they always approve it, rubber stamp it basically, but it has to be kept on record in our Mineral County clerk, Mary, what's her last name? Miller, there we go. Yeah, she is kind of the one at the county level that administers this and keeps track of all this. So anyway, we are losing one of our route drivers. Mike Briscoe isn't going to drive routes for us next year, except as a substitute. And he is going to continue driving long trips like athletics, field trips, stuff like that. So we've had to kind of modify, since we only have 2 bus drivers then left that have CDL, commercial bus driver licenses. And I am one of those. Sandy Parish is another one of those. And so the first route listed here is route number 1. Basically, we'll be using our Ford Expedition, which is a legal school bus, even though it's not a school bus. As long as it meets certain safety regulations and it has various things that we have to have safety-wise on the vehicle like that. What I'm proposing is the Ford Expedition, which can take 7 or 8 passengers, including the driver. So we're limited to only 7 students that could be picked up with that vehicle. And what we're going to be doing is slicing off the far west Fish Creek and the Sear Sawmill Gulch area, which basically only has like 5 students in it. So that vehicle will be doing those. And then basically what's here in that first paragraph under Route 1 basically outlines where the vehicle goes. And so any questions about that one before I go on? And if you think of something later, that's fine too. Route 2, as listed here on the bottom of the first page, I got listed as Petty Creek Road, Ponderosa area, West Mountain Subdivision. West Mountain Subdivision being the subdivision to the very west of town at off of I-90 exit 75. And basically what this route will do is they'll go up Petty Creek first, picking up kids on the way, and they go all the way basically basically to the end of the pavement, which is about mile 10 up there by the south end of Old Petty Creek Road. We pick up a student there, turn around, and come back towards Clark Fork River Bridge, Petty Creek Bridge. And then, after doing Petty Creek, they'll go into the Ponderosa area, which affects a couple of you here on the board. But basically, we drive in 1.5 to 2 miles. I'm not sure, Mr. Manson, how far you're in there exactly, 1.5, 2 miles?
Well, 2.2.
So anyway, we pick up kids, going in, turn around, basically at where Mansons live, and then come back and pick up a few kids on the way back, potentially. And that is going to be done by Sandy Parrish, as far as I can conjecture. And then after she picks up the Ponderosa area, jumps on the freeway and heads down and does the subdivision just west of town. So, okay, then any questions on the second round? Feel free to point out any mistakes if you catch any, because there's always a few in there. But Route 3 then is on the second page, and that's the one I'll be doing. They've been rearranged, as I said, a little bit from what they were, just because of drivers available and vehicles we'll be taking. But Route 3, in the morning, basically, I get on the freeway, get off at 9 Mile, and come back to the area where the 9 Mile house used to be. There's several students to pick up there. And then we'll come to, we'll take a right and go north up to Piney Meadows on West 9 Mile Road. And we go, anyway, Piney Meadows, we turn around and then pick up students basically all the way back to Old Highway 10. Take a right, come back to town. And then we take when we get to the gravel road down the hill, which I call the Petty Creek Cutoff Road, I'm not sure what it's actually called, but, and go down the Petty Creek Bridge, cross the bridge, and then we'll head down South Side Road picking up students. We go about, again, 1.5 to 2 miles back in there, turn around and come back to Petty Creek Road, cross Petty Creek Road, and pick up just a couple students on Bible Lane and come back to school. So that's what they are, and I'm asking for the school board to approve those routes as stated. And if you have any questions, please feel free, Gary.
Does this solve all the problems of kids having to cross the road to get to the?
Yes, pretty much everybody is picked up, well, everybody is picked up on the right side of the bus with the main doors, so they don't have to cross, both picking up in the morning and dropping off at night, so. There's a couple spots that are a little bit different just because of the way for example, on Bible Lane, if you know where Lucinda Lane is, that's about 1/10 of a mile in. Runyon's first, and Lucinda is the next one. Basically, I pull in there, pick up a student that's not at their house, but their car is parked there and they get on, there's no traffic to cross there. Pull in there, pick up the student and back out, and then head back out to Petty Creek Road. So,
How many kids are on, clearly the first one, Route 1 is small, but how many are on Route 2 and
when all the kids are riding, I don't have the exact number, but it's in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 kids. So generally, I'm guessing we would, generally on a typical morning, we'd be transporting like 40 kids or a few more.
approve the bus routes for 2025-2026 school year as written.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve the bus routes for 2025-2026 school year as written. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Wonderful. Moving on to B, coaches for 2025-2026 school year. Do you want me to run through these?
I don't think you need to, but you need to recuse yourself on junior high volleyball.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You have a question there?
What can I do for you, Cassie?
Oh, I'm Cassie Tippett. I've coached sports here for the last 2 years and was recently told that I wouldn't be coaching junior high girls volleyball. And then for basketball, it would depend on if there was a varsity team, which I understand. It was brought to me by not only my daughter, but other teammates as well, that if you guys choose to go with the coach that you guys have on ballot, that they would be playing. And I really hate to see the kids not have that person they can follow, that they want to be coached by. And, you know, when I applied for the secretary position previous, I was told I couldn't coach. And that I had to make a choice, and I chose the girls at the time, because that is what meant the most to me. And the team, you know, beyond anything else. We strived to try to build sports here, but I want to let you guys know that these girls have talked about going to a different school to play, and I would hate to see that. I just want you guys to really think and consider, not me, and it doesn't have to be me, but consider somebody different for the position. Thank you. And I do have an email from a parent that couldn't be here today, if I can hand that to you guys.
You can, but it's not gonna make any difference.
Okay.
I would like to put out a word, based on that. I think there are ways to go about things and there are ways to not go about things, and that was a little bit low. And I want to just voice, in front of the public that I have full support of our activity director. And the last thing that I would do would be to hire somebody to do a job, and then after they've done it, pull the rug out from underneath their feet while they're not even in attendance. I appreciate what you had to say there, but here we sit. So as Superintendent Upland did mention, I will recuse myself from any input on the junior high girls volleyball coaching position. But other than that, I think given that, we need to take motions on all of these sports individually. That sounds about right. We
Yeah,
can't
just
just
do whatever you want.
Yeah, we can't just do them all.
No.
Yes, and the high school volleyball as well. That's right. High school volleyball, junior high girls volleyball. I'll recuse myself on those.
All right, I make a motion to approve the hiring of John Richards as head coach for high school football and Brad Odell as the assistant high school football coach.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve John Richards as the head high school football coach and Mr. Brad Odell as the assistant high school football coach. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Moving on.
I move that we hire Ms. Josie Schaefer as the head volleyball coach and Jen Fredette as the assistant volleyball coach.
Second.
Having a first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? I move that we consider Chelsea Green as the head junior high girls volleyball coach and assistant Georgia Fredette.
Second.
Having first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excuse me.
Moving on to boys basketball.
I move that we consider Carson Callison as the head coach for high school boys basketball and Matt Seagal as the assistant coach.
Second.
We have a first and a second to nominate Carson Callison as the head boys basketball coach and Matt Cedal as the assistant boys basketball coach for the 2025-2026 season. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those who oppose? Moving on to girls basketball.
I move that we hire Sarah Bestwick as head coach of girls basketball and assistant coach Holly Kipp for high school girls basketball.
Second.
We have a first and a second to hire Sarah Bestwick as the head girls basketball coach and Holly Kipp as the assistant girls basketball coach for the 2025-2026 sports seasons. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? And moving on to varsity track and field.
I move that we consider Jessica Neal as the head coach for varsity track and Ms. Josie Schaefer as the assistant coach for varsity track.
Second.
We have a first and a second to hire Ms. Jessica Neal and as the head varsity track coach and Ms. Josie Schaefer as the assistant varsity track coach. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? And last but not least, junior high track and field.
I move that we consider Mr. Carson Callison and Alicia St. Clair as co-head coaches of junior high track.
Second.
We have a first and a second to hire Mr. Carson Callison and Ms. Alicia St. Clair as co-head coaches of junior high track and field. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Wonderful. Moving on to item C. We are here to consider Ms. Samantha Stewart for the sixth grade position for the 2025-2026 school year.
Right, well, I move that we hire Ms. Samantha Stewart, first sixth grade teacher for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
We have a first and a second to hire Ms. Samantha Stewart as the sixth grade teacher for the 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Welcome.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Just say hi.
Hi, I'm Sam.
She's got deep roots, I waited until we said that. We're excited to have her.
Moving on to item D, the school calendar for the 2025-2026 school year.
And I apologize, it's not in the packet.
You got it all in email.
I move that we adopt the school calendar for the 2025-2026 school year as presented in our emails.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve the school calendar for the 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Wonderful. Moving on to discussion item number 2, which would be an increase to substitute teacher rate to $100 a day, and then to $110 a day after 25 days of service.
Is that cumulative for carry over from year to year, or is that?
No.
So recess?
Yeah, and Ms. Wood did an excellent job on this, doing a regional assessment of it. So obviously I have to compete with Frenchtown and Missoula, and $100 puts us right in the middle. In fact, we haven't been able to find them since 1987, but a little bit just there. I'm pretty close. But this will help immensely, so it's already showing signs of it. It's a good thing. Nice work.
Were we closer to like the $80 a day range? Is that what it was?
So my thought is that, we'd be offering the same pay that Frenchtown offers, maybe opening up the pool of people who sub in Frenchtown, they might want to sub here if it's the same.
Awesome. Thanks for looking into that. I know that it is a huge stressor, and it starts to kind of bleed into the administrative office.
And I mean, paras will have to cover, and other teachers begin to have to cover, so it would be, it's my goal next year to have a dependable substitute list. Dependable and quality.
Having once been a substitute teacher, I'll move we increase the substitute teacher rate to $100 per day, $110 per day after 25 days of service.
Second.
We have a first and a second to increase the substitute teacher rate to $100 a day, and also to $110 a day after 25 days of service. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Very good. Increase hourly rate for substitute classified staff from $10.50 an hour to $12.50 an hour.
It's just housekeeping, it's been $10.50 for a long time, and so $12.50 would be what we offer for substitute kitchen, substitute paras, substitute in the office.
We don't see a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's minimal, but it's time to adjust it.
I move we increase the hourly rate for substitute classified staff from $10.50 to $12.50. My comment is, that still seems low, but I know our classified staff salaries are, I would still consider to be a little low.
Second motion.
We have a first and a second to increase the hourly rate for substitute classified staff from $10.50 an hour to $12.50 an hour. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Wonderful. Discussion item number 4. Pat, do you want to talk about this?
Yes, so, we need to have an approval for an overnight trip, for 2 mentors to go to Atlanta, Georgia, to participate in the Skills USA National Leadership Conference, and 2 students. And those students and one of their mentors will be giving a presentation over what they have done thus far and what they will be presented and what they will be competing in specifically. So I guess first, I might make a motion that we move to allow them to travel, and then
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve the overnight trip. So you just want the travel?
well, I think we're gonna present. So I guess if you want to see the presentation before, you might not think they're worth it.
So we do have a first and a second to approve an overnight trip and presentation for Skills USA. Pat, I do believe that I heard you say Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Okay, how many people are we talking about?
There will be 4, myself, Mr. Morris, Naylor Manson, and Drew McPherson. They're in the crowd in the red jackets. And we will be traveling on Monday next week and returning on Saturday, hopefully with the national championship. And I think these boys have quite a shot at actually pulling that off. Between high school and middle school, I'm not sure the exact numbers, but there will be, I believe, 102 teams competing. Potentially, between the 2, we're looking at 50.
52 high school, 52 middle school that are eligible, but probably not all those states are going to actually be represented. Montana's not represented with high school this year because the kids couldn't raise the money.
I will say this is the second year Alberton is qualified to go to nationals. Last year we did not go due to budget constraints. We had a bit more of a head start this year due to how the calendar worked out for the conclusion of their first tech challenge season. And going into this, having been there to judge and to coach at the state, we're mopping the floor with the rest of the state right now. So I would foresee this being, we're gonna have a bunch of members going forward. And I think as these guys move into high school, we're gonna have high school and middle school teams that, we're gonna need to be fundraising for. But this is a pretty prestigious event, and these guys really busted their butts to make this happen. So, the community's come together, done some excellent fundraising. It's been great, so thank you for those that have contributed, time, treasure, and talent. We really appreciate that. We had a barbecue this last weekend, and we really do appreciate that, because every penny counts on this. So, without further ado, you guys wanna show us what you got?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more. So these guys are gonna write a robot up and they'll do their talk. So we're kind of using you guys as a bit of a practice, because they have a technical presentation they're gonna do in front of judges at nationals. So they're gonna go through that presentation for you guys, have to be up in front of people all dressed up, practice for that. So, as Mr. Manson said, we're going to be going on Monday, so definitely send your best wishes with us, and I think we have a really good chance, and we're really excited. This is a really cool opportunity. It's taken a lot of work to get here, both fundraising. We've had PEAK, we've had a bunch of organizations, we've had school grants, we've had individuals giving. It's been awesome. We have about $6,800 raised so far. We need just around 2,000 left. I still have a little bit of math to do on that, but we're down to, like, we bought all the tickets, we have everything covered. It's just how much do we personally put the bill. So hopefully we'll be doing a little bit more. We're also going to do a demonstration and have it field out at Railroad Day. So we're going to be showing off the robots then, and we'll let people do some driving of the robots too. And hopefully we'll have, at the very least, some great stories to tell from nationals, and maybe something more to show. We'll see. So with that, here's Nolan and Bruna, and they're going to give their presentation.
So you guys are moving up in the music room. We have the course that they use for the state competition with the ductwork that they have to drive through and ramps and tunnels.
If you guys want to come check it out afterward, we can come show you up there. We have the whole field set up as practice.
Just have to go up the back way because the floors are flat. Right, gentlemen?
Hi, I'm Malin,
I'm Bruna.
and we're here to present for our Skills USA trip, and we're going to be going to Atlanta, Georgia for the Skills USA National Leadership Conference representing Montana for middle school in the robotics competition.
Our robot is for the Skills USA Urban Search and Rescue. It is supposed to go through a urban cityscape area and find explosive ordnance, simulated bombs, and dispose of them in a safe area.
So we're going to be doing like kind of a test thing for you guys as kind of what we would do for the judges at the actual event. So we're participating in the Robotics Urban Search and Rescue competition at the Skills USA National Leadership Conference. And what our robot has to do is traverse the course and complete 5 different skills challenges, and then the final full field challenge, and then as he explained, the robot has to move around, pick up an ordnance, and then deposit it. And this is our robot. It fits into the 18 by 18 by 18 inch size constraint constraint with, and it has a total of 6 motors, and 2 servos. We have 2 motors on either side powering the tracks, 1 motor to lift the arm up and down, 1 motor to extend our slide in and out, a motor to have our wrist go up and down, and then 1 to have the claw open and close.
Our robot's brain is a rev control hub and expansion hub in which all the motors, servos, and camera connect to. We use a PlayStation-like remote to control the robot through the Rev Robotics Driver Hub, which is this, and use the Wi-Fi to wirelessly connect to it. The line.
So we have our webcam here, which is plugged into the control hub, and due to software constraints, the control hub is not able to stream the camera footage to the driver hub. So what we did to get around that was the control hub has a built-in HDMI port in it for diagnostics with a camera, but we took advantage of that with a wireless HDMI transmitter in order to hook it up to a monitor or TV, allowing us to see real-time footage of the robot from a separate view area. Another thing is, our biggest challenge with this robot was the claw, because it's the shape that the ordinances should have right here is a little odd, and what we had to do with this is we used a 4-bar linkage design that allows our claw to open and close like this. And with our first iteration of the claw, it had 2 hooks on the end to allow us to open the mailbox with this handle here. And the issue with that design, though, is that grabbing onto the ordinance, if you didn't get it in the right position, you'd grab the ordinance on the end of the hook, which made it very easy to drop the ordinance if you weren't careful grabbing it. So this is our second iteration here, and we removed that hook on the end and kind of moved it to down here. And we have a different approach with opening the mailbox by using these hooks here to pull it open from the top versus grabbing the handle. And also with this, it makes it so it's impossible to grab it on the end of the hook. And it really holds it well with how we have it designed here. And we're going to have a third iteration, which allows us to near fully close the claw, because with one of the ordinances, it's attached to a string, and we weren't able to grab that string with this design because it doesn't close all the way, making it so it is near impossible to get that ordinance if it is on course.
Recently we've been doing wire troubleshooting because the wires were very messy and it created problems, and they were hard to fix. Like the motors were spinning opposite directions in the treads, making the motors were basically fighting each other. Solution we came up with was labeling all the wires, putting them in these cases, zip tying them together. There's a couple zip ties. Another one was, yes, tightening everything. We also, another solution was using simple test programs to quickly check if the motors and servos were plugged in correctly to the control hub and expansion.
That's all we have. This robot has been an amazing experience to build, and we've learned a lot from it. We've come up with many solutions, and we've had many challenges along the way. This has helped us with public speaking, like here, and working with community, for example, fundraising. And thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please ask.
How long can you realistically use this robot and remain relevant for the competition?
This robot, so they really haven't changed the competition a lot from when it's been made. There's been like minor rule changes for any problems that they found. But as long as the competition doesn't really change how it is right now, this robot will stay relevant. But if it does change, we can modify the robot pretty easily to adapt to the competition.
We have two main robotics different groups that we work with. So we do First Tech Challenge and then Skills USA. And First Tech Challenge has a completely different game challenge every year, and you have to totally redesign the robot to meet the new challenges. It's not like football where the rules stay the same. But Skills USA, it is more like that. The rules stay the same from year to year. So the Manson family and the school, now we're starting to do that too. We're getting more robots so we can have a dedicated Skills USA robot, or maybe even more than one pretty soon, so that we can be working on it year round and not have to tear it down, because currently we've had to tear down the robots between every competition basically, which then we're spending all our time just getting it basically, together and don't have time to practice. So it's been really cool with this. These guys have been putting in, especially since state, but some before state as well, they've been putting in a lot of time on their own after school, coming in, and now in the summertime, they're coming in almost every day, working on practicing for this big event. And I think they're really ready.
Well, how much money does it take to equip a robot like that?
Patrick? He's the one that put the bill for this one, mostly.
This robot is approaching $2,000.
I mean,
About $2,000. That seems to be the neighborhood of most of our robots for the school.
There are a few more complicated things that we have on our First Tech Challenge robots that add a little bit to that price tag, but mostly it's, in about that range, $1,500 to $2,500, I would say. So the school now has 2 robots, and the Manson family with their analysis paralysis second team that we did has 2. So we actually had 3 teams at Skills USA State, 2 high school, and 1 middle school, and these guys took gold. Our high school guys, one of them took bronze as well. And then we also have several other challenges that we do for Skills USA, including welding and sculpture, and we might do woodworking and stuff in the future as well.
chat with me for a few moments after the meeting.
We'll do great.
I may know of a potential source.
The challenge with these competitions is that it's a very specific part list. It's a little bit more open for Skills USA, but with First Tech Challenge, they spell out exactly which vendors you can buy from and the exact specs of everything. So it's pricey and we have to go through them, but we can make a lot of custom stuff too. We're getting the capability in our shop now.
When you get with Skills USA, he says that once, I believe it's this year at the National Leadership 100 and was it 104 different categories?
Oh yeah, it could be. It was like 30 some at state, but yeah, it's over 100 at
There's a
nationals.
lot of things going on.
They have everything from healthcare to culinary to heavy equipment operation to robotics to
It's 119.
119 goodness. Nice.
So a lot of
Yeah, public speaking, a lot of
She'll open the mailbox.
Try it.
Prove that it does work. We'll see how it slides here. So when they're going, Varuna acts as a spotter. Malin will either be operating in the side on a table with blinders, so he either has the camera or no camera at all and has to rely completely off the verbal commands that Varuna is giving.
You will sometimes be able to see.
Yeah, he will be able to see sometimes, but he will go off walkie-talkies and walking through everything. So it is the site.
Sorry, technically.
And I think it's of note that our neighboring school districts do not have a lot of them. So Superior and Frenchtown do not have this, so this is something that is unique to our district in at least the immediate area. It's pretty good. As far as robotics teams for First Tech Challenge in the state, I believe there are 28 teams currently. That trying to be expanded.
Skills USA was a much lower bar in terms of there's fewer teams, but we're being advocates for it and helping promote it across the state. And I'm actually coming on as a technical chair. I think Patrick might as well. So we're actually running the state competition, and we're going to try and get a bunch more schools across the state to be involved. But we're trying to keep our little kind of hegemony here in Alberton, or in our surrounding area.
What do you guys enjoy the most out of this? What do you enjoy the most?
Getting to build and drive the robot for me.
What do you?
I like being building sometimes as well.
So while these guys are here, this was our primary drive team for First Tech Challenge. So during the First Tech Challenge season, these two were our co-drivers for the robot.
For the middle school team.
Yeah, for the middle school team.
Do you guys ever consider doing something like this for a living? Like, would you guys be robot operators
Yeah.
for like a police department or
I
military?
think, maybe not that sort of stuff, but I would really like to design robots and that kind of stuff.
So the really cool thing about robotics, and the state first senior mentor from Montana says this a lot, but the cool thing about robotics is if you're in football, you have a very low chance of going pro. But for every single student in robotics, if they want to go pro, there's a job for them. They can do it 100%. There's that much demand, and the competitions. There's such a great spirit in Montana. All the teams come together and help each other, and everyone learns so much from it that the kids really excel in it, really do well. I had last year I taught robotics as a class for the first time, and it was awesome. It was only for high school, but this coming year I'll probably do a middle school and a high school class, and yeah, it's been great because it's really huge career opportunities for it. The robotics is just booming as a field.
Yeah, I was really impressed to see the camaraderie when I went to the FTC competition in state with you guys and see all the kids like ran around to talk with each other and get ideas from each other and like congratulate each other. It was pretty cool.
If a part breaks, you go to the booth next door and someone will help you out. Like,
Yeah, it
it's
wasn't
just
tough
really,
at all.
really awesome. That happened to us a few times, and then we helped other people a few times, so it's cool.
Thank you.
Good job, you guys.
Great job, guys.
Nope, we still have passes. We did not pass this. We were still in midstream. And remind us of the dates.
This will be next Monday,
know what, and, good job to you, Mr. Morris.
Thank you.
I think that, we talked about a lot of things that we're very proud of at Alberton, and sometimes, it seems like we fight for that credibility, and I think that, our industrial arts and other skills-based education here in Alberton, often goes overlooked. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I see you, and I think it's really impressive. Yeah.
Thank you to the community for supporting us. John, we really appreciate you doing the fundraiser last weekend, or last Thursday, so right up to the end. It's fun to do.
And we'll still keep accepting money. We're gonna try and keep, getting everyone reimbursed for the plane tickets
And
and
we will
everything.
have an FTC season coming up.
Yeah, and then,
So-
furthermore, there's a lot to raise for next year, yeah.
Good job. Yes, before we do that, I do see a blank here on July. Is that because we don't have a meeting set, or we just didn't have a calendar in front of us?
Well, I think we need to decide when that is going to be, whether we're having a board meeting, a work session, not blending those two. So I'm gonna talk to Mandy tomorrow.
Okay.
She's gonna be here, we're gonna meet, and I will send you all an email and ask for all proposed dates.
So it would be an early meeting theoretically, right, because the first is a Tuesday?
It'll probably be later,
If we did a regular schedule, because the first is a Tuesday, and so that would make it like the 8th, or I think the 8th. 4th is, I know the 4th is Friday. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, yeah, the 8th.
and Mandy starts on the 1st, so I'm actually proposing like the week of the 15th or the week of the 20th.
Okay. And then, yeah. We don't wanna say anything about upper 7 at this point, as far as like it's not on the meeting,
Yeah,
so
I
we can't
think
talk
that-
about it, but.
Yeah, I think I would suggest a work session because you have, the facility reviews are ready, the proposals are ready. We'll send those to you by the end of the week, so Morrison Merrill's in and so is McKinstry. That needs to be reviewed and I think there's gonna take some time to go through them and probably an August vote on what you'd accept, but some work in front of that. You've got, the school funding issue with upper 7 that needs to be discussed openly, so there's some time for a work session. I don't remember, there were some action items that could be placed in the August board meeting. Yeah, I don't think I'd make my suggestion would be not to have a board meeting where action is required, because you got two big issues, and you got the strategic plan may come into play, so there's some work session pieces, just some sit down informal discussions about, what's in front of us. And with the new superintendent, it's an optimum time to decide what direction you wanna go with all that, how you wanna play it out.
Okay. So, next regular meeting will be determined at a very weird date. Thanks for being thoughtful about that, I totally understand where you're coming from, makes complete sense. Okay. And July is often a meeting that we will skip too,
Yeah,
so.
so that was trying to make all of that work, still trying to make it all work. But whatever we still could not have a board meeting in July and be fine. Those items can be on the August board meeting
Action
agenda.
items. Yeah, I would, if you haven't done this before, but there's enough work on the table that, schedules permitting, that you look at a morning through the day work session, where it may start at 9 in the morning and go till 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and chunk it out. I mean, I'll suggest that tomorrow when we meet with Mandy. That's a thought, if your schedules allow.
All right, we see you,
Second.
We have a first and a second to adjourn this here meeting, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.